We're back. Say hi. Hey. I just woke him up from his nap, so he's a little bit grumpy, but there aren't a ton of videos we can do with Louis, so today we're doing one with Louis. Now, as I'm sure many of you guys know, 2021 was a pretty great year, especially for a lot of TV shows that came out. So today we're gonna be breaking down some of my favorite shows and series that I've watched from a variety of different streaming platforms. So if you guys are looking for a new show to binge, hopefully I'll have something for you. All right, now first off, we're gonna be starting with Apple TV. I think Apple TV has been setting the bar pretty high, especially for a lot of their series and shows. So the first one that has honestly been one of my absolute favorites this year has been Ted Lasso. It's a really feel-good comedy that just touches on a lot of great subjects. And I think seeing Jason Sudeikis in this more serious kind of role is something that we haven't seen from him. So it's a really great change of pace, and the fact that it's nominated for a ton of different Emmys honestly just goes to show how great of a series it is. To be honest, I know a lot of people are hesitant about the show because they don't really know what it's about, but I promise, just give yourself 2 to 3 episodes and you'll be hooked. And to be honest, I like the show so much that I even made my Halloween costume as Coach Lasso. All right, now second up, one of Apple TV's most infamous shows is going to be The Morning Show. And to be honest, it has every right to be kind of that premiere show for Apple TV because it's a star-studded cast, and likewise, just every single episode in this series is just very captivating, and it's something you literally want to binge the entire season of. Right now I am caught up because I just finished their season 3 finale, but it's a really great show filled with a lot of different dramas. And like I said, it's just got such a star-studded cast with Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell, so it really is a must-watch series. All right, now moving on, another series I really enjoyed is going to be called Invasion. It's basically about an alien species invading Earth. The thing I like the most about this show is that it follows different groups of characters all across the globe and shows how they're handling this invasion, but also how well they're going to be able to work together. All right, now next up, let's move over to Netflix. To be honest, I think this year Netflix has held the crown for probably the best series that have come out. Now, I've ranked this list with my favorite shows starting first, and obviously we're going to be talking about Money Heist. And if you guys are caught up with this series, I gotta say it was pretty crazy to see the entire season come to an end. This is a show that I've been invested to for over a couple of years now, and to see everything just kind of wrap together and come to a finale was just the best way I could think of to send these characters off. I always tell people, if you're looking for a new series that you just want to completely binge, you have to watch Money Heist or La Casa de Papel. Now, second up, as I'm sure many of you guys are going to expect, obviously we're going to be talking about Squid Games. Now, to be honest, this show basically just took over the entire world, and rightfully so, given the crazy concept. It was unlike any other series I had seen before, which is why I think it gained so much popularity, but also given the fact that it was all in Korean, and to see such a massive global appeal just meant a lot to me. And yeah, obviously I can't get too much into it without spoiling anything, but if you have not yet seen Squid Games, you got to. At this point, it's really just a cultural phenom. All right, now a couple of these shows are not necessarily things that have been released in the past year. However, they are something that I've rewatched and have still made my top favorite list. First one on my list is actually going to be this show called Top Boy. And to be honest, the newest season of Top Boy was actually picked up by Netflix. It is executive produced by Drake, but it's just a really great show. It's very gritty and dark and dramatic, but I also kind of like that about it. It's set in London, so it's really cool to see this different change of culture. Next up, we're talking about this Korean drama called Startup. If you're an entrepreneur or into business, I highly recommend watching this because it's not only an interesting drama, but you actually do get to see a lot of practical stuff about investments, seed funding, things like that. And to see these kind of fields of entrepreneurship and Korean drama intertwined has been very great. Next up, we're talking about a show called Formula One Drive to Survive. It's basically a docu-series following the lives of these Formula One racers. To be honest, before this, I had never really been into F1, but now after this, I'm pretty much hooked because there's actually a lot of drama that goes on behind the scenes. So this series has been a super cool way to shed light on the world of Formula One racing. All right, next up, we're talking about Outer Banks. I think the new season was actually pretty intriguing. What do you think about it? You like it? You like the pose? We do like the pose. But basically on this season, they go on this huge treasure hunt. And I think the thing that's so appealing about the show is that obviously the entire cast is very attractive, but it also appeals to kind of us as a younger demographic. So I think that's why we're all enthralled by it. All right, next up, we're talking about a series called Alice in Borderland. And if you're a fan of Squid Game, I think this is very much going to be right up your alley. But the show is actually based in Japan. This is actually the first Japanese show I've watched. And very much like Squid Games, there are different contestants. We have to go through various challenges. And as I'm sure you can expect, there's money involved or there's death involved. And if you're interested in these more kind of dark thriller shows, definitely got to check out Alice in Borderland. Next up, we're talking about a Spanish show called Elite. To be honest, this is probably one of my favorite Spanish series because it just shows the lives of these different prep school kids. But the reason that I like watching a lot of these different foreign shows is that it actually helps a lot with improving my languages. So if you're trying to find a way to improve on your language skills, definitely recommend watching a show in that language. All right, we have quite a few more series to get through, but obviously we gotta talk about You featuring Joe Goldberg. Man, I gotta say, this man is literally crazy, and to see him and Love basically just go on their rampage is very entertaining. entertaining, but it is one of those shows that just has you on the edge of your seat the entire time. Alright, now if you're a fan of dramas, one series that I recently watched was actually called Maid. It's a very powerful story about a woman who's trying to raise her daughter. She goes through a lot of stuff with her family and personal issues, but through perseverance and hard work, she ends up achieving her dreams. But it is a very empowering series to watch, and I highly recommend that one as well. Alright, now these next 5 series I'm just gonna go through really quickly. Lupin is a really great series if you're into that thriller genre. It's based in Paris, so if you're trying to learn French, definitely recommend checking out that one. Speaking of Paris, obviously Emily in Paris, actually season 2 just came out today. That's probably what I'm gonna watch next. I was somewhat entertained by the first season, so I'm definitely gonna try and give this season 2 another shot. Queen's Gambit, obviously if you haven't seen this one, it's definitely a must watch. I literally binged this entire series in a couple of days, and it's probably something I'm gonna go back and rewatch. Now the next series is called True Story. It features Kevin Hart. I would say it's kind of like a crime thriller drama mystery, and to see Kevin Hart in kind of this more serious role has been very entertaining. And finally, number 5 is going to be the series called Hellbound. Like I said, if you're into that kind of dark sci-fi drama, Hellbound, as the name suggests, is basically you get a prophecy that tells you what day and what time you're going to die, and then at that point demons come and they literally shock you to death. It's kind of hard to explain, so I might just put b-roll of the trailer on here and then you can decide if you'd like to watch it as well. Alright, now before we continue though, I do want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, INIU. They have a wide variety of charging products, but recently they sent over this charging stand for my iPhone, and I've got to say this has been a super clutch addition, especially when you're watching these shows for long periods of time and you don't want your phone to die. Having something where you can just easily dock it and have it automatically charge is a super great and convenient feature to have. Obviously it's pretty simple, but all you got to do is just dock your phone and it'll wirelessly charge. But the great thing about this is that it's actually a fast charger, meaning your phone is going to be back at full charge in an instant. But for me personally, this is something I can just leave on my nightstand and know that my phone's going to be charged every single night. But it's also something that you can leave on your desk because it's sleek and portable. Now another great feature is that you can even charge your phone horizontally, so you're still able to watch your favorite content without worrying about having to find a power cable. It also features a smart adaptive LED indicator, which is bright during the day and dims in the dark, so it won't disturb your sleep. So if you guys are interested to check out this phone charger holder, definitely recommend checking out the link in my description down below. Alright, now that's going to wrap up all of our Netflix series. Next, let's move over to Disney Plus. To be honest, Disney Plus was pretty much cranking out a bunch of series this year, and given the fact that they were all tied into the MCU, definitely made all of them very much worthwhile. The first one we gotta talk about is WandaVision. This is probably the first one that came out, but I've gotta say, out of all the series so far, I think it's my favorite one. To be honest, although at first it took me a little while to get into it, as the show started to progress, you definitely got to see a lot of character development in both Wanda and Vision, and it pretty much just set up a whole new landscape for the next phase of the MCU. Going off of that, there was another series called What If, and it basically just broke down a bunch of different hypothetical scenarios of what if this happened. For example, there was an episode of what if there were zombies in the MCU. So it was a really cool way to see a lot of these hypothetical situations. And then the last two that I really enjoyed were going to be Hawkeye and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Those two are just very much classic Marvel action, and you can never go wrong with that. Alright, next up we're moving over to HBO Max. This one has been pretty short because there were only 2 series that I really enjoyed. The first one is going to be, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but the Gossip Girl remake. Yes, I'm a fan of Gossip Girl. The original series was just a classic. Like, you literally can't beat that. But I will say the reboot on HBO Max is just a lot better quality. Although I don't think the acting is as good as the original, I will say the production level and the cinematography just... And the other show is a series called Succession. To be honest, the only reason I gave this a shot was that I had seen a lot of hype about it. So I definitely wanted to check it out. To be honest, I'm not the most engulfed in this series as I've been with other ones. It's very much one of those shows that just focus on power, wealth, and money. And finally, moving over to Prime Video, I think there are 3 series that I enjoyed watching. The first one is going to be The Boys, and it's actually like a superhero-based series, but I will say it's probably the darkest take on superheroes that you could think of. It's basically what would happen if all superheroes were actually bad guys. Of all the shows on my list, this definitely makes the top 10 at least. So if you haven't seen The Boys, that's definitely got to be the first one you watch on Prime Video. The second one is going to be Suits. To be honest, this is a show I just really enjoyed watching. Just another show about that power and that lifestyle. Alright, so to wrap up my list of my top 5 favorite shows, if you only watch these 5 shows on my list, they are going to be, number 1 is going to be Ted Lasso. It's just a feel-good comedy that I think will bring a lot of joy into your life if you do watch it. Number 2 is going to be Money Heist. For me personally, I just love heist movies. To see a 5-season show just break down exactly how to pull off one of the biggest heists, and you can't go wrong with Money Heist. Alright, now coming in third is going to be the show called Alice in Borderland. Like I said, it is very much similar to Squid Games. However, I think the concept itself was just a little bit more detailed and in-depth that I actually really enjoyed watching it. So it's very much up there with Squid Games as well. Alright, now number 4 is going to be WandaVision. I just think this had the best storytelling out of all the Disney Plus shows that I saw. And finally is going to be The Boys on Prime Video. Guys, it's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed some of these recommendations, and hopefully you're gonna be able to find a new show that you guys can enjoy. If you like this type of video, don't forget to drop a like down below. And as always, folks, don't stress, finesse. Peace, y'all.